In the last unit, we studied one of the most important Windows artifacts, registry. In this unit, we will look at other information-rich Windows artifacts, starting with the Windows Recycle Bin. The Recycle Bin is a hidden system folder. It is called Recycled in Windows 95 and 98, Recycler in Windows NT 2K and XP, and the $recycle.bin since Windows Vista. When files and folders are sent to the Recycle Bin, they remain as active files and their allocated space is protected from being overwritten until one empties the Recycle Bin. Fat systems do not track who deleted the files, so all the files in Recycle Bin are put in a single folder. In NTFS, however, subfolders in Recycle Bin are created with users' IDs. Each user has his own folder to store recycled files. Users can only access their own files associated with their own IDs. Please note that files deleted by the operating system or by pressing Shift key and delete are not moved to the Recycle Bin. The Recycle Bin before Windows Vista uses a hidden file called info or info2 to store each file and the directory's information in the Recycle Bin. When you move a file to the Recycle Bin, a new entry is added to the info2 file with information of the file's index number, deleted date and the time, the original file size, name and path, and a new name in the format of D followed by the original drive letter of the file, followed by a sequential index number, followed by the original extension. For example, when an executable file on the C drive is sent to the Recycle Bin, its new name in info2 file entry is dc43.exe if its index number is 43. Using info2 information, you can easily recover files that you may have sent to a Recycle Bin by a mistake. When a folder is sent to the Recycle Bin, the folder name in info2 is changed in the same way as a file without any extension. Files and folders within that folder remain their original names. Since Windows Vista, Recycle Bin has been named as $recycle.bin. Info2 file is not used anymore. When a file is sent to Recycle Bin, both the original file and its metadata file are stored in the C $bin and the user's directory. The original file is renamed to $i r followed by a set of random characters followed by the original file extension. A matching metadata file is created with its file name beginning with $i followed by the same set of random characters and extensions as the $r file. This $i file is always 544 bytes long and contains the information of the original file name, path, original file size, and the deleted date and time that the file was moved to the Recycle Bin. Unfortunately, neither the info2 file nor the $i files are in readable text. Refugi, the Italian word meaning trash, was developed by McAfee to pass the information in an info2 file and display the fields separated by a field delimiter. Refugi supports multiple platforms and will run on Windows, Mac, Linux, and BSD platforms. To pass out the $i file, you only need to follow the file structure for $i. After using FTK and Encase to export the $i files, free tools such as $i file parser from Flashback data will pass the $i files. When the Recycle Bin is emptied, the files and the folders in the Recycle Bin become deleted files and folders. File systems will modify their system files to reflect the deletion as we covered in Unit 6. In addition, info2 entries and the $ files are deleted, and the Windows Recycle Bin icon changes to an empty waste bucket. However, even though these info2 records and the $I files are gone from Recycle Bin, they may still be intact in unallocated or slack spaces. Forensic examiners are interested in recovering info2 entries and the $I files since they indicate that a user intentionally deleted the files from certain locations. For example, a suspect is accused of possession of indecent pictures, and the forensic examiners find some of pictures in their recycle bin or in a recovered info2 file. The suspect claims that these pictures were automatically downloaded from internet, and he or she did not aware of their existence. The forensic examiner can check the picture's original location before they were sent to Recycle Bin. If these pictures were originally located in C, My Documents, My Favorite Things, and this evidence may tend to refute the suspect's statement. Sometimes an original file path information tells us that we are missing a critical piece of evidence. For example, an examiner identifies an info2 file record or $I file, but he has trouble finding the file's original path from the seized media. This is an indication that there may have been another piece of media attached to the computer. This could lead us to discover more evidence. How do forensic analysis tools recover deleted info2 records and the $I files? We mentioned earlier, both info2 record and the $I record information following their own file structures. An info2 file record stores the file's index number, deletion date and time, the original file size, name and path, and a new name. A $I file is always 544 bytes long, and it follows $ file structure to store information of the original file size, deleted date and time, and the original file name and path. Forensic tools will go through unallocated clusters and file slacks using regular expressions to search for info2 records and the $I file patterns. EnCase uses its own script, a Java-like program, to recover and interpret deleted info2 records and the $I. FTK uses live search with regular expression to search for info2 entries and the $I. The regular expression for info2 entries is given here as an example. Windows shortcut files or link files are valuable artifacts for forensic investigators. Shortcut files link to Windows applications and files. They are used in recent documents, Start menu, Send to, and the Windows desktop. Understanding the link file format is important for forensic analysis. Windows link file contains the MAC times of the target, the size of the target when it was last accessed, the computer MAC address, and the serial number of the volume where the target was stored, the network volume shared name, the fully qualified paths of the target file, the target's attributes such as hidden, system, encryption, compression, compressed, etc. The shortcut files information reveals the existence of files that may no longer exist on the device they are examining. These files might have been wiped or deleted, or maybe still stored on a USB or network share that was not acquired. This information can lead you to identify a missing piece of evidence. A number of tools, including EnCase and FTK, exist to parse out link file content for investigation. Next, let's look at thumbnails, which have been used by Windows since Windows 95. The thumbnails file is automatically generated when a user views a folder that has the thumbnails option on. It is a hidden database file that contains a set of small images for every graphics file in the folder. The graphics files that are indexed in a thumbnails file include image files like JPEGs, BMPs, GIFs, PNGs, document image files such as PDFs, video files, and others. In Windows XP and earlier, thumbnails are stored in thumbnails.db in the same directory with the graphics. Since Windows Vista, some cache files are stored in a centralized location under Explorer. The centralized thumbnail cache includes a number of files called thumbcache_numerical_number.db. Why is thumbnails file an important artifact? Images extracted from thumbnails are crucial evidence for the cases involving image forensic analysis. If a suspect is in charge of possessing indecent images, often the suspect will try to delete the images before the police reach them. However, a thumbnail of image often remains in the thumbnails file even after the suspect has deleted the image file itself. Many people do not delete the thumbnails file when deleting images. Even if the thumbnails file is deleted, it may still be recoverable. In such cases, computer forensic investigator will recover the thumbnails file and extract each of the thumbnail images along with metadata information such as the original image's name and the date each thumbnail was last written. Thumbnails show the files existed on the volume. Several tools can be used to extract and view the data in a thumbnails file. Both EnCase and FTK provide a simple user interface for viewing the thumbnails within thumbs.db and then thumbcache_number files.